Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratas charthe subhigyasvarat tene brahma hridaya adikavaye muhyanti yat surayah tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha dhamma svena sada nirastakuvakam satyam param dhimahi narayanam namaskritya naranchaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudire स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य कलह प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 14, beginning from verse number 14. Teachings of Sri Narada to King Yudhishthira. He is explaining how to live in family life and attain the supreme goal, which is freedom from bondage. So he is explaining how one should give up attachment and also try to treat the other living entities and support them. That was the essence of his talk, because usually in our life, because of attachment to our physical body, we only care for ourselves, self-centered or rather body-centered, and we do not care for others, nor we can feel the presence of the Supreme in others. So for this purpose he instructed that one should not accumulate too much, take things what is needed for oneself, and also should not employ too much time just looking after the three varga, that is dharma, artha and kama, but should also think of the fourth, which is moksha, or beyond that, bhakti. So because he is talking mainly on varnashram system, so he is talking about varnashram mixed with bhakti. So he says, Siddhair yagyav shrishtarthai kalpayed vrittimatmanah se swatvam tajan pragya padmim mahitam yad. So he says that one should perform these yagyas. There are 5 types of yagyas which are prescribed for a householder. And because there are 5 types of debts. There is debt to the devas, to the pitris, to the sages, forefathers and other living beings. So therefore there is Shraddha for forefathers, and then there is the Yajna for the devas, giving food to the human beings, and studying Shastra to get over the debt to the sages. So these are called Panchayajnas. So he says one should take food what remains from the yajna. Krishna says yajna shishtamrito, that this food which is remaining after the yajna is called amrita. So after eating that, yanti brahma sanatana, in this verse, yanti brahma sanatana, when you attain the supreme. So that is the way to become free from karma and for the debt, bondage. So siddhair yagyavsishtarthai kalpayed vrittimatmana. So this is how one should live one's life, and one who does not have attachment to anything, se swatvam tajan pragya padam, and he says that such a person is called mahat or sadhu or saintly. So just like in Catholicism, they have the system of declaring somebody as saint, usually after someone dies. So here he says that the saintly quality is this: they only see the miracles. If somebody is doing some miracles, healing, right, then that is considered as saint. But here the saint is not doing miracles, but one who is detached from anything material and doing all these duties, especially these yagyas which are prescribed. So that is what he calls a mahat or sadhu or saintly person, although living in the family life. Yavata udar bharnam syat tavatyev vastuni abhimanam kuriyat. So as much is needed to fill one's own belly, that much one can think is mine. The rest, he says, don't think that it is yours. Yat purvoktam tatrapi vyavasthama siddhair divya bhaumantriksha yagya avsishtai arthai panchayagya saisairanam. So whatever comes by the destiny, and one accepts that. So in India there was this very strong feeling previously. Just like now, the belief, everybody's belief is that if you want wealth, money, power, it will come by doing work. Right? Therefore a whole system is economy oriented. You go to school, college, you study because that's how you'll make money, do business, sell things. So that is the only way you can get wealth. But in India people believe that wealth comes by the higher forces. So they will do puja, yagya, chanting. Now also many people do this, anushthan, to become rich, to get power, to get cured from disease. So this was very strong belief in India. Some is still remaining. So that's why he keeps on saying that whatever you get, otherwise how you will get? If you don't go to job, how is that you are going to get money? Somebody is not going to drop at your house, in your post box. So that's how they thought, and they lived like that. So they did not develop any big industries or anything. And as we studied that out of Varnashrama, the four Varnas and four Ashramas, only one Varna was making money. The other three were not. And only out of four Ashramas, one Ashrama was. So out of 8 Varna and Ashramas, only one was after making money. Other 7, they were just going around. So he says, if one can do that, which means not having the sense of possessiveness, sense of ownership, attachment, swattva, tajet, then one is called Mahatma. That is a sadhu, that is a definition of saint. Devan, Rishin, Nri, Bhutani, Pitrin, Atmanam Anvaham, Savritya, Gatavittena, Yajeta Purusham Pratak. So now he is talking about the 5 debts. So he says one should worship by the wealth one has or one gets, the devas, because there is a debt to devas, because devas are in charge of the material elements, earth, water, fire, air, all these things which we need for our survival. Now we don't even think that we have to do anything to them. We take it for granted that air is available, water is available, earth is there for us. But In Vedic system, it was believed that these things are also coming by the grace of Devas. So therefore there was offering for them. So Sahayagya Purasrishva Purovacha Prajapati Anena Prashodhyame Sadhvastishta Kamaduk. In the beginning of creation, the yagya was also created, and Brahma said that you do this yagya and this will give your desires. This will satisfy your desires. So this is the Vedic system. So te devan bhavyata tena te deva bhavyantu parasparam bhavyanta shreya param vapshata. You satisfy the devas and they will satisfy you. And thus by mutual satisfaction you can attain your supreme goal. So therefore Dev Yagya. So they were doing all this Agnihotra Yagya, Deva, Indraya Swaha, Varunaya Swaha, Agnaya Swaha, Idam Agnena, Idam Namama, Agnaya Idam Namama, like that they were chanting. So that is the Deva. And then Rishi. So Rishi Yagya is study of the Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas, Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta Sutra, Upanishad. So if you study that, then the sages are happy. Because they wrote these books so that we study. And only for our benefit. They did not write book because they will sell them and make money. So they are pleased if we study these books. Otherwise, why did they write? So now nobody cares for that. All this Devrena, Dev Yagya, Rishi Yagya, this is completely uprooted. And then Nri, human beings. We live in the world, we also depend on others. So no one can survive by oneself. We need to wear cloth, we cannot make cloth ourselves. We need food, we cannot grow that place by ourselves. So therefore we should also care for human beings, because by the mutual cooperation we live. Somebody is growing food, somebody is taking care of the cows, somebody is weaving. So all these things which we use in our life, they come from others. And we also contribute something. So that's why Niri Yagya was that if some guest comes to your house, and in the olden days there were no restaurants, there were no hotels. So people also travel, they come to your house, then you give them food. Somebody comes, is hungry, comes. So that was considered as the third sacrifice, giving food. Because everybody has the right to eat. And then Bhutani, living beings. So you cows, right? Dogs also, you protect. So giving food to them, to the birds. So they're also helping sometimes. Monkeys. And then Pitri. Pitri means forefathers. So grandfather, great-grandfather. They also are hanging somewhere, having big hope that our children, grandchildren, they will do something for us. Just like parents, they have some hope from their children. That when I get old, my children will take care of me. At least in the previous time, parents believed like that. Now I don't think so. So they expect. So like that, those who are dead and gone, they also expect. Those who are in family lineage have a strong link. So they expect. And they can also give some blessings. So that is called Pitri. So that is Swadha. Performing Swadha means offering some water, rice, sesame seeds. So that is to take care of them. So these are the 5 yagyas. These were very important for grihasthas and the people. Specifically, they have to do them. So Svavrityarka agata vittena yajeta purusham pratak. And then one should ultimately worship the Purusha, the Supreme Lord, by one's own wealth. So this is the duty. And ultimately one has to see that there is one Supreme Person in everybody. Whether forefathers, human beings, animals, there is only one Purusha who is existing in all of them. And he is ultimately worshipped. Yarhyatmanodhikaradhya sarva suryagya sampadaha vaitanikeena vidhana agnihotradina yajet. So, if one actually has the qualification and one has the ability, knowledge and the produce, then one should do big sacrifices to worship the Lord. So, yarhi atmano adhikaradhya sarvasur yagya sampada. So first of all, adhikara. Everybody does not have the qualification to do yagya. And then sarva yagya sampada, surya yagya sampada. Then you need a lot of material to do yagya. That's available. Vaitanikeena vidhana agnihotradina. So then Vaitanika means long sacrifices, at least do agnihotra. And by this one worships the Lord. So Devan, Rishin, Nrin, Manusyan, Bhutani, Pitrins, Panchamahayagya, Devata, Atma, Sarvitya, Yajan, Adhyapanna, Dirupya, Purvaktya, Agatena, Uparjitena, Vittena, Pithaganma, Maharajan, Purusham, Sarvantaryam, Yajet, Pithak Devataradhanam, Bhagavaradhanam, Neva Bhavati. So ultimately, worshiping. And then Nahi agnito agni muktoyam vai bhagavan sarva yagya bhuk ijjeta havisha rajan yatha vipra mukhe hutai. Now this is a verse which makes the Brahmanas happy. So he says that the Lord is, Bhagavan is not so much pleased if you do sacrifice and pour things into the fire. But he is more pleased if you put food into the mouth of a Brahmana. So Brahmana's mouth and the fire in the sacrifice, these are 2 mouths of God. Whatever you offer into the fire, it goes to God. What you offer to the mouth of the Brahmana, that goes to God. It says that Nahi Agni Muktoyam Vai Bhagavan Sarva Yagya. So Bhagavan is called Sarva Yagya Bhuk. He eats all the offerings done into the fire sacrifice. Of course, you have to do it properly with chanting of the mantra. So that is because Agni is his Mukha. Agni Mukha is called here as Agni Mukha. Who has fire in his mouth. So The second is Brahmana. So fire, the speech which we speak, this is also related to fire. It's like food is digested by fire. Fire is that which digests food. Fire is that into which you pour things, because fire is the transforming element. All the transformations which happen here in the material world happen by fire. Things are growing by fire. That's why now when it is so cold, things don't grow. In the summer, so many things, when the heat is there, things grow nicely. Things also get ripe by fire. So fire is the one which carries the offering to God. So therefore God is called Agnimukha. And then the second is Brahmanas. Brahmana is also the mouth of the God. So if you feed Brahmana, then he is more pleased than feeding the fire. So Jeta Havisha Rajan Yatha Vipra Mukhe Hote. So na punar atir nirbandh ho yagyartham eva karyati ayam. So therefore he says that it's not that you have to give too much importance to the yagya, this fire yagya, but more important to feed the Brahmanas. Because what you put into the fire, it gets burnt. God eats, okay, but it is not useful to any human being. So much ghee, rice, grains put into the fire, it's gone. But if you feed a Brahmana, at least some human being is getting benefit and God is also getting it through him. So that's why it says that he is more happy with that. Yatha vipra mukhe utair annadi bhirijya tatha nagni mukhe. So he says there are two mouth of God, fire and Brahmana. He is more pleased with the second one. So that's why in India there is custom of inviting Brahmanas to eat. Any auspicious act, then Brahmana has to be fed. Brahma Bhoj. Tasmat Brahmana Deveshu Martyadeshu Yatharhata Taistai Kame Yajasvenam Kshetragyam Brahmanananu. So again, Brahmana feel happy. He says, therefore, what we have to do is that Brahmana and Devas, Brahmana, Deva, living being, human beings, etc., and other living beings, they are all worshipped, they are all taken care of by giving them what they require. But ultimately one should worship only the Bhagavan, the God who is inside all of them, Kshetragya. But speciality is of Brahman. So Brahmana has to be given more importance than anyone else. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetra Itya Vidhiyate Kshetra Kshetra Tayor Jnanam Yattaj Jnanam Matarmana Kshetragyam Chapi Mam Vidhi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. So he says that he is also the Kshetragya in all the living beings. So just as an individual person knows his or her own body, then God knows everyone's body because He is residing in every body as a Paramatma, as the Supreme Immanent Being. So it is He who has to be respected, worshipped. So the idea of feeding, whether you feed Brahmana or you feed bird or you feed poor people, you should think that there is God in them. If you don't think like this, then it is only social welfare, a materialistic act. It will not elevate you spiritually. But if you think that actually you are doing this to please God, who is situated in them, then it will bring you spiritual upliftment. So mostly people are doing social welfare, helping poor people. So when you help poor people, then you become proud. Because you think that I am capable, I am rich, and these people are poor. So instead of making any spiritual advancement, you may actually go backward. But if you think that I am doing this because God is in them and I want to please Him, then you don't become proud. So therefore he says, Kshetragyam Brahmanananu. So Kshetragya is Paramatma, Supreme Being inside. So one has to be aware of Him and then do the seva. The service should be done only keeping Him in the mind, in the center. Otherwise it will become a materialistic act and it will be also the cause of bondage. So the same activity can liberate you, same can bind you, same activity can make you free from attachment, same can make you more attached, depending on how, with what consciousness you do. So therefore he says that Brahmanas, Devas and human beings, animals, this also includes forefathers, they are to be worshipped Kamai Yajasvaina. But actually you are worshipping only one in all of them. It says Yajasva Enam Kshetragya. That you worship this Kshetragya, this Supreme Being, who is in all of them. Because there is only one God situated in all of them. So this is how one has to have the vision and worship. Brahmana eva deva tesu bhojyadanani kshetragyam parameshwara. So there is the word here Brahmana devesu. So it can mean two things. One is it can mean Brahmana and Devas. That is one meaning. Another is that Brahmana himself is the Deva. So in other words, you don't have to worry about the other Devas, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, etc. Just worship the Brahmana and he take care of him, and that is good enough. So he is the living Deva. Brahmana also is called Bhudeva in Sanskrit. There are Devas in heavens, Swarga. They are the Swargiya Deva. And then there are the Brahmanas on earth, they are the Devas on earth. So therefore they are called Bhudeva. So worship them. So why Brahmanas are given so much importance? Because Brahmanas, or a Brahmana is supposed to give knowledge of the Shastra. And that's what makes our life different, that's what makes our life perfect if we understand Shastra. So that Brahmana is doing. Brahmana lives only for the upliftment of the society. He does not make any money. He does not. Brahmana sadehona shudra kamaya kalpate. The body of Brahmana is not meant for petty things, for like making money, doing business. Yes. Brahmana is meant only to do tapasya. Tapsa krichya pratyanantaya. that you live here by doing tapasya and then you will get eternal bliss after death. So that is what is expected from Brahmana. And that's why he is so much honored, because God's job is to give knowledge. Dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna says, I come to establish dharma. So what is dharma? Dharma is knowledge. What is adharma? Opposite of dharma is adharma. Ignorance. Because all dharma is done in ignorance. People are ignorant, so they act unrighteously, improperly. So as Krishna comes to give or establish dharma, then Brahmana also is doing it. That's why he gives so much respect to Brahmana. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanitaya. Krishna is called Brahmanya Deva. That he is a worshipper of the Brahmanas. He respected Brahmanas very much. And he comes for the welfare of cows and Brahmanas. So Indian society previously was guided by the Brahmanas. As long as the Brahmanas were performing their duties, then the society ran very nicely. Because Brahmana is like the head. It's like we head in our body. If our head is functioning right, then everything is right. If head becomes disturbed, everything becomes disturbed. Right? And if somebody becomes insane, then the body becomes useless. So Brahmana was the head of the Varnashram body. If you take Varnashram as a body, then Brahmana was its head. Because he gave the guideline, he gave the knowledge, he was in charge of knowledge, he was in charge of education, in guiding humanity. So as long as he did this, then India was great, and there was a great civilization. When Brahmanas became proud and started exploiting the other three class, then degradation began. So even if the other three classes are not functioning properly, Brahmana could control them, because he was the head. And they had the power. It's like King Veda. He was the king. But he has to live. Previously there were kings, but kings were guided by the Brahmanas. And the king was the supreme authority, and he was treated like God. He was respected like God, but still the king will respect the Brahmanas. He will bow down to them, and he will take guidance from them. If he tried to become independent of the Brahmanas, then there was corruption, there was trouble. So Vena tried that. Then the Brahmanas came and killed him by chanting the mantras. So that was the power of the Brahmanas. And so Vishwamitra, he did tapasya for 60,000 years to become Brahmana, 100,000 years. Because he realized that he could not defeat one Brahmana by all his power. So he thought, these Brahmanas are so powerful, I better become Brahmana. But that was not easy. So therefore he says that worship the Brahmana eva deva tesu bhojyadanai kshetragyam parameshwaram vinasya. So worship the Supreme Bhagavan, Supreme God, who is existing in the Brahmanas. So therefore when you respect Brahmana, then also you have to know that ultimately I am respecting the God. So if some Brahmana is a real Brahmana as described here, then it is like as if God has become manifest in him. God is manifest in certain things like cow, rivers like Yamuna, Tulsi plant, Vaishnava as Brahmana as Guru. So although God is everywhere, but He is manifest more in this. So that's why they are saying worshipping them. You can worship anybody, you can worship anyone because God is there in everyone. But He can be felt more easily in these living beings or objects. So that's why they are more worshipable than others. Brahmanananu Brahmana Puja Anantaram Martyadi Sucha. So this statement here that Tais Kamevi Yajasvenam Kshetragyam Brahmananam, that you worship the Brahmana, but after worshipping Brahmana you worship others. That is one meaning. That other living beings, Martyadisu, you said, they should be worshipped after Brahmana. That means if they are Brahmana and then there are other people, then give food first to the Brahmana and then to other people. So Brahmana is first. They are given the Agrabhav, the first person. If there is a feast or any Bhoj, then they are the first one to be given, and then others get. So that is one meaning of Brahmanananu. Another meaning is that Brahmananu means that he is the prominent among all. So Brahmana Arsananantaram, first worship Brahmana, then anyone else. Martyadisu Manashaswadisu. Brahmana Ananam iti part spashta. And in some books, instead of Brahmana Ananam, the reading is Brahmana Ananam. Means the mouth of a Brahmana. So that does not need any commentary. It is already directly saying that feeding. So this is the recommendation. So previously there was a lot of respect for Brahmanas in India. People actually used to respect them very much. Now, of course, all this is going. But countryside still you can see some traces of this. In the cities nobody cares. And that was because of their great sacrifice. The Brahmanas sacrificed their life only to study and teach. So they were teachers. Brahmana basically means teacher. And they did not charge for their education. They taught free. Whatever you give them, they accept, but there were no demands. So it says Kuryad apar pakshiyam masi prashtapade duja shadram pitro yatha vittam padmananancha vittavan. So now he is going to speak of certain periods which are more auspicious for doing religious activities. In the first he is talking about Shraddha. Shraddha was one very important part of Indian culture. A lot of people still follow it in some respect. But it was very important. So Shraddha means you make offering to the forefathers at least twice a year. There are 2 weeks So which come in Chaitra and Ashwin. It's before Kartik, and then now one will come after 2 months. So there are 15 days, 2 weeks in that month. And you do Shraddha for all your forefathers, 7 generations you are supposed to do. On the day they had died. So you make offering and invite one Brahmana feeding. So that is the way to make Shraddha. So Shraddha, the importance was that it kept you in contact with your family, you could remember them and their good deeds, their good character. It also gave you sense of pride. I belong to such people, I come in the family of such people. Therefore I should not do anything to bring bad name to them. So that kind of sattvic ahankar. Ego is usually considered as bad, but this type of ego is good. This is sattvic ego. So I am Kshatriya, so I cannot behave like this. I am a Brahmana, I cannot behave in this low manner. Or I come in this particular gotra and our fathers, forefathers, they were very devoted to certain education, certain behavior. So this was the pride people used to take in the past. So Shraddha instills that feeling, and then you get the blessings of these people, the forefathers. So Kuryad Apara Pakshiyam Masi Prashtapade Dvija. So he says that a Dvija, a twice born person, in the month of Bhadra, in Krishna Paksha, actually it should be Ashwin, which comes before Kartik, after Bhadra. It depends how you follow the month. In some places the month starts from Purnima, full moon. In some places it starts from Amavasya. So this comes in the month of Ashwin, these 2 weeks, that's what he's saying. So in the Krishna Paksha, every month, the lunar calendar, the lunar month has 15 days are dark, 15 days are bright fortnight. So when the moon is going down after Purnima, that is called Krishna Paksha. And after no moon, when moon is increasing every day, that is called Shukla Paksha, bright fortnight. So Shraddha is to be done in the Krishna Paksha. Because our 6 months is there one day in the upper planet. So therefore it comes every 6 months, morning, evening. So the devas, they sleep 4 months and they wake up in Kartik Ekadashi, right? And they are awake 8 months. So no marriage, no such things are done in those 4 months. Because 6 months is their night, 6 months is their day. So they go to sleep in the summer from Ashad, Sawan, Bhadra, Ashwin, 4 months. And wake up to Kartik. So this is the time to do Shraddha. This is auspicious time. So he says one should do the Shraddha. It's also called Mahalaya. Shraddha. Mahalaya means taking rest. So your forefathers, grandfather, great-grandfather, etc., etc., Shraddha to be done. So Prashtapade, Bhadrapade, says Prashtapade means Bhadrapade, but comes in Ashwin. So when you say Bhadrapada, That means your month is going up to the Amavasya. Then it will be Bhadrapada. So probably that is the custom, because here in North India the month starts from Purnima, so it should be translated as Ashwina. But in some parts, I think in South India, the month starts from Amavasya. So then it will be Bhadra still, because it is going to end after 15 days. That's why I say this is Bhadrapada. So either you take it as Bhadrapada, if it is beginning from Amavasya, otherwise Ashwin, if it begins from Purnima. Krishna Paksha in both cases. So that is the time to do Yajna. So now in the upcoming verses he is going to describe periods, auspicious times for